In the ancient pages of the Bible, like two forgotten mysteries, the first twins, who fought before they were born, and the last twins marked by a scarlet thread of shame. What hidden secret ties their stories together? And how did they shape the birth of kings and the coming of Christ? In the stillness of Rebekah's tent, a deep ache awoke at dawn, a stirring within her that felt more like war than life. Day after day, the struggle in her womb grew fierce, as if two unseen warriors wrestled in the hidden dark of her belly. Fear shadowed her heart, and tears stained the woven rugs. For what mother could rest while her own children fought within her? Rebekah, daughter of Bethuel, beloved wife of Isaac, could bear it no longer. She rose and went to seek the counsel of the Lord. Alone on a windswept hillside, she fell to her knees and cried out, "Why is this happening to me? Lord, speak that I may understand." The voice of the Lord came, gentle yet grave. "Two nations are in your womb, two peoples divided from birth. One shall be stronger than the other. The older shall serve the younger." And we declared the voice that shapes destinies unseen. Fear gave way to wonder in Rebekah's heart. What children must these be, whose birth would echo across generations? The day of birth arrived under a sky heavy with clouds. Isaac waited outside the tent, prayers rising like incense. The midwives cried aloud as the first child emerged. Red and hairy like a garment of rough wilderness, he was named Esau. But as Esau drew his first breath, a small hand gripped his heel, stubborn and unyielding. And the second child was born. They named him Jacob, the supplanter, for he came into the world already reaching for what lay ahead of him. The twin cries rose into the desert air, Esau's voice like a rough wind, Jacob's softer but no less determined. Isaac's eyes searched their faces, the older fierce and wild-eyed, the younger watchful, a quiet flame burning within. As the boys grew, the difference between them deepened like rivers carved by the same, rain yet flowing opposite ways. Esau, the man of the field, the hunter, whose hands knew the bow and the scent of prey, whose heart beat to the rhythm of wild places. Jacob, the dweller in tents, the thinker, the planner, whose eyes missed nothing and whose words held the softness of cunning. One day, hungry from the hunt, Esau found Jacob stirring a pot of lentil stew, its smell a promise to empty stomachs. "Give me some of that red stew," Esau demanded, breath ragged, hands trembling from hunger that felt like death. "Sell me your birthright first," Jacob answered, his voice quiet but edged with iron, a moment of destiny clothed as a meal. "What use is a birthright to me if I die of hunger?" Esau swore an oath, and with that careless bargain worlds shifted unseen. The stew filled Esau's belly, but the birthright slipped from his grasp, unseen yet weighty, sealing futures yet to unfold. Years later, when Isaac's sight grew dim and death seemed near, Rebekah remembered the word of the Lord, burning in her heart. With trembling hands, Jacob brought the meal to his father, wrapped in goatskins to feel like his brother, the hunter. Isaac, old and blind, smelled the fields on Jacob's garments, felt the roughness of fur, and spoke the blessing meant for Esau. "May God give you heaven's dew and earth's richness. Nations shall serve you, and your brother shall bow to you." The blessing fell like oil upon Jacob's head, irrevocable as dawn. And when Esau returned too late, his cry tore the air. "Bless me, me too, my father." Esau wept, but the blessing had fled, taken by the brother who once clutched his heel at birth. And so, the struggle that began unseen in Rebekah's womb poured into years of exile, heartbreak and hope yet unbroken. For in the story of the first twins, we see the mystery of divine choice, that what is promised may come through struggle and grace. Generations passed. Jacob's family became tribes, and among his sons, Judah carried a promise darker than gold, yet brighter than hope. Judah, who once betrayed a brother for silver, now stood at the crossroads of shame and redemption by the side of a road. Tamar, his daughter-in-law, veiled and silent, risked everything for a future denied her by the hardness of men's hearts. By firelight and fear, Judah lay with the woman he did not recognize, leaving behind his signet, cord, and staff, tokens of hidden guilt. Months later, Tamar's secret grew beneath her heart, until whispers swelled to shouts, and Judah demanded punishment. "She is more righteous than I," Judah confessed. When proof of his own sin lay in the tokens, she returned to him. When Tamar's time came, her pains were doubled. Life wrestled in her womb, as if history itself repeated its mysterious design. As the first child began to emerge, a small hand broke free of the darkness, reaching for the world beyond. The midwife, breathless with wonder, tied a scarlet thread around the tiny wrist, marking him firstborn in crimson memory. Yet the child drew back, swallowed again by the hidden wrestling. And from that struggle, his brother came out first. "What a breach you have made for yourself," the midwife cried, and they named him Perez, meaning breach. After him came his brother, the scarlet thread still bright upon his wrist, a boy named Zerah, whose name would whisper brightness. In that moment, Tamar's courage bore fruit beyond shame. For from Perez would rise kings, and from kings a greater promise. These last twins of Scripture were born not of quiet faith alone, but of scandal redeemed, of wrongs turned to grace. The scarlet thread that marked Zerah's hand spoke of blood, of sacrifice, and of mercy that covers even the deepest breach. Where the first twin's struggle spoke of chosen destiny, the last twins spoke of redemption forged from brokenness. In Perez, whose line led to David, and from David to the Christ, we see how God writes straight with crooked lines. The cries of two newborns rose into the night air, witnesses to a grace that could turn shame into hope everlasting. And so, through the last twins, God showed that from the ashes of sin could rise the seeds of salvation. For in the birth of Perez and Zerah, heaven whispered that no scarlet sin was too dark to be woven into his redemptive plan. The first twins wrestled for blessing before they ever drew breath. The last twins wrestled for light marked by scarlet shame. Between them lies the story of a people, of struggle and covenant, of betrayal and blessing, of sin and redemption. Esau and Jacob remind us that destiny is not claimed by strength alone, but by faith that dares to grasp the unseen. Perez and Zerah teach that even in disgrace and secret shame, God can plant seeds of promise that flower in his time. Rebekah wept as her sons fought in her womb, never knowing the full measure of sorrow and hope her choice would shape. Tamar, veiled in risk and desperation, bore the reproach of her day to bring forth sons whose names would echo to the Messiah. Jacob fled his brother's wrath into exile, but returned broken and blessed, his heel-grasping hand transformed by encounter with God. Perez, the breachborn, carried in his name a promise that what breaks us may yet become the very door God uses for grace. And Zerah, whose scarlet thread marked him first, bore silent witness that what seems first in men's eyes may not be first in God's. Through these twins, first and last, Scripture draws a thread across generations, a thread woven of struggle, choice, mercy, and redemption. From Jacob came 12 tribes and the hope of Israel. From Perez came kings, psalmists, and, in fullness of time, the Christ himself. The hand of providence that stirred the womb of Rebekah also guided the hidden birth of Tamar's sons, unseen yet unforgotten. In every breach, God makes a way. In every struggle, he plants a promise. In every scarlet shame, he weaves salvation. And so the first and last twins stand together, centuries apart yet bound by a single truth, that God's purpose prevails. For he is the God of the hunter and the dweller in tents, of the breachborn and the bright-threaded, of sinners and saints alike. And through their stories, written in tears and triumphs, we glimpse a greater story still, the story of grace that conquers all. Now let me ask you one question. Did you enjoy this story? If yes, hit that subscribe button for more interesting stories like this one.